The Roman kingdom, the first phase of the Latin Roman state's development, was established in the 8th century BC and lasted until 509 BC when the Romans overthrew the last king and established a republic. Information about the Roman kingdom comes from ancient historical sources like the works of Roman historians Livius and Dionysius of Halicarnassus. These sources contain legendary tales about Rome's founding and its first kings, such as Romulus and Remus. According to legend, the Latins, the tribe that founded Rome and led to the Roman kingdom, republic, and empire, were descendants of the Trojan war hero Aeneas. Aeneas escaped from the burning city of Troy and arrived on the Italian peninsula. He and his companions founded the city of Alba Longa, a significant center in the Latin League, which united several Latin cities and tribes. The history of the Roman state begins with the legendary tale of Romulus and Remus, born to the god of war, Mars, and the Vestal Virgin Rhea Silvia. Romulus and Remus were twins. Their uncle, Aemilius, seized Alba Longa's throne, displacing their grandfather, Numitor, a descendant of the Trojan prince Aeneas. Aemilius, fearing the twins might challenge his rule, ordered them thrown into the Tiber River. Instead of drowning, they were saved by a she-wolf who nursed them. They were later found and raised by the shepherd Faustulus and his wife Acca. Upon discovering their heritage, Romulus and Remus decided to establish their own city. They chose a site on 7 hills near the Tiber River. According to the legend, they argued over who would rule the new city, leading to Romulus accidentally killing Remus. Romulus became Rome's first king, naming the city after himself, marking the city's origin in 753 BC. After Rome's foundation, Romulus and his fellow inhabitants realized the need for wives. Attempting alliances with neighboring tribes failed, so Romulus devised a plan. During a grand festival, Romans invited the neighboring Sabines and their women. At Romulus's signal, Romans attacked and abducted Sabine women, an event known as the Rape of the Sabine Women. The Sabine men, realizing their wives' abduction, prepared for revenge. However, their Sabine wives, now Roman women, intervened, reconciling the groups. Sabine king Titus Tatius and Romulus co-ruled the city, uniting Sabines and Romans. Romulus engaged in military conflicts with Veii, defeating them at the Battle of Lake Chryseis. Rome expanded, triumphing over neighboring Etruscan and Sabine cities. Romulus instituted political, social, and military reforms, organizing the population into legions and establishing the Senate as advisors. He disappeared mysteriously, his legacy living on through Rome. After Romulus, Numa Pompilius ascended the throne, ruling from 715 to 673 BCE. He was a wise and just ruler, making significant contributions to Roman society and religious practices. Numa respected the gods and established religious rituals and cults in Rome, fostering order and tranquility. He created a calendar of religious festivals, established sacrificial rites, and contributed to Rome's prosperity. According to legend, Numa Pompilius left behind manuscripts buried with him. In 181 BCE, during excavations in Numa Pompilius's necropolis, 2 chests were discovered. One contained his ashes, and the other, believed to hold Numa Pompilius's documents and books, was mysteriously empty. Scholars believe the gods had preserved Numa Pompilius's knowledge from misuse. Numa's reign marked a period of relative prosperity and peace, leaving an indelible mark on early Roman history. He created a system of laws that became the foundation of Roman justice. His rule focused on the development of agriculture and rural economy. He encouraged the rural population to engage in farming and take care of the land, promoting the state's economic growth. Numa Pompilius was also renowned for his pursuit of peace and diplomacy. He made peace agreements with neighboring tribes and established friendly relations with neighboring states. His reign marked a period of relative prosperity and peace for the Romans. The next king was Tullius Hostilius, likely in 672 BCE. Unlike Numa Pompilius, his reign was characterized by military actions and conquests. One of Hostilius's early military campaigns was against the Latin city of Alba Longa. The Romans gathered their army and marched directly towards the city. However, the king of Alba proposed conserving their strength and selecting the 3 strongest warriors from each side. Interestingly, both the Romans and the Albans were triplets. Thus began the famous battle between the Horatii representing Rome and the Curiatii representing Alba Longa. During the battle, one of the Horatii were killed, but the third, Horatius, managed to retreat unharmed. Since all 3 Curiatii were wounded, They could only approach Horatius individually. He fought heroically and defeated each of the 3 Curiatii one by one. As a result, the city of Alba Longa and its inhabitants remained unharmed, but they pledged to fight on the side of the Romans in case of war between Rome and the Etruscans. The war with the Etruscans did occur, and at a crucial moment in the battle, the Albans refused to assist the Romans because the king of Alba, Fuficius, had secretly made a pact with the Etruscans. Despite the challenging situation, the Romans managed to emerge victorious. After this, Hostilius ordered the capture of Fuficius, who was accused of violating the treaty and was subsequently executed. Alba Longa was completely destroyed, and all its residents were forcibly moved to Rome. However, the Albans were granted the same rights as the Romans. According to legend, Tullius Hostilius paid little attention to religious rituals. Subsequently, misfortunes and negative omens befell the Romans. Realizing his mistake, Hostilius began to perform sacrifices and worship Jupiter, the god of thunder. However, he performed the ritual incorrectly. Afterward, the angered god struck the temple with lightning, completely destroying it along with Tullius Hostilius. The 4th king of Rome was elected as Ancus Marcius, who ruled from 640 to 616 BCE. It is believed that Marcius was the grandson of the 2nd king of Rome, Numa Pompilius, from his mother's side. Ancus Marcius led successful military campaigns against neighboring Latin cities. He defeated Politorium, a Latin city, and subjugated the city of Medulla, further expanding Rome's influence in the region. According to legend, he also attacked the city of Veii, showcasing his military skills. Marcius initiated a series of construction projects that changed the appearance of Rome. He built the first defensive wall around the city, providing crucial protection against potential threats. Additionally, he constructed Rome's first prison, the Mamertine prison, establishing a key structure for justice and law enforcement. Marcius also played a significant role in the economic development of Rome by founding the port city of Ostia at the mouth of the Tiber River. Ostia became a hub of trade and commerce, contributing to Rome's economic prosperity. He also built the first bridge across the Tiber River, improving communication and trade routes. Ancus Marcius is believed to have died of old age after a 24-year reign. After his death, Lucius Tarquinius Priscus, a companion of Ancus Marcius, became the 5th king of Rome. Through his wisdom and eloquence, Tarquinius was able to persuade the Romans that he was worthy of ruling. He was elected as king in 616 BCE and ruled until 578 BCE. Tarquin the Elder was known for his construction projects. He initiated the construction of the Capitoline Hill, where temples dedicated to Jupiter, Juno, and Minerva, the 3 main Roman gods, were erected. Additionally, he adorned Rome with new amphitheaters, aqueducts, and circuses, making the city more prosperous and appealing. Tarquin the Elder actively engaged in foreign policy, forming alliances with neighboring tribes and expanding Rome's influence in the Latium region. He also conquered the city of Suessa, further strengthening Rome's position on the Italian peninsula. During his rule, Rome began to assimilate elements of Greek culture and art. This cultural exchange significantly contributed to the development of Roman culture, architecture, and literature. Unfortunately, his reign ended in violent death. Tarquin the Elder was assassinated by conspirators. His assassination led to significant changes in Rome's political landscape, ultimately paving the way for the abolition of the monarchy and the establishment of the Roman Republic. Servius Tullius became the 6th king of Rome in the 8th century BCE. His rise to power and reign were marked by several significant events and reforms that later influenced the early Roman Republic. Servius Tullius's ascent to power was unusual. According to legend, his mother saw a divine omen in her dream, an illuminating flame above her head, foretelling the birth of a great leader. Despite being born into a humble family, his exceptional abilities and wisdom quickly garnered attention. One of Servius Tullius's key achievements was government reforms. He classified citizens based on their wealth and introduced a census, determining the rights and duties of citizens. Servius Tullius surrounded Rome with walls, fortifying the city against external threats. He expanded Rome's territory, incorporating parts of the Esquiline and Quirinal hills. Under his rule, Rome became a center of trade and cultural exchange with neighboring peoples. Rome's economy thrived due to the active development of crafts and trade. He made changes to social structures, strengthening the role of the family and providing protection for the poorer segments of the population. Servius Tullius's rule ended tragically. He was killed by his daughter Tullia and her husband Lucius Tarquinius, leading to significant political changes in Rome. Power was eventually restored to the monarchical system, reaching its peak in the reign of the last king of Rome, Tarquin the Proud. This event ultimately led to the expulsion of the kings and the establishment of the Roman Republic. Servius Tullius left an indelible mark on Roman history, making a significant contribution to the formation of Roman society and political institutions. Tarquin the Proud came to power by overthrowing the previous king, Servius Tullius. He was known for his cruelty and ruthlessness. Tarquin the Proud strengthened the centralization of power, suppressed democratic institutions, and disregarded the rights and freedoms of Roman citizens. Tarquin the Proud deceitfully conquered the city of Gabii, demonstrating his cunning military tactics. One of the most well-known events associated with him was the violation of Lucretia, a noblewoman, which led to her tragic fate and subsequent uprising against Tarquin's tyrannical rule. His reign came to an end when he was overthrown due to a popular uprising against his despotic rule, particularly prompted by his horrifying treatment of Lucretia. After his expulsion, the Roman kingdom transformed into the Roman Republic in 509 BCE, marking a pivotal moment in Roman history. The overthrow of Tarquin the Proud and the establishment of the Roman Republic marked the beginning of a new era for Rome. Principles of shared governance, checks and balances of power, and respect for citizens' rights became foundational to the Roman political system. This transition laid the groundwork for the development of one of the most enduring and influential political structures in the ancient world.